Okay, firstly, I'll start with like this, like what we are going to discuss today. We are talking more about in a greenfield implementation project. Okay, if you talk about implementation project, greenfield implementation project, so how SAP, how the customer client will be moving from a other ERP to SAP, right? First thing. Sometime I have seen even they are using SAP ECC. They follow greenfield implementation process only project. Okay, they will not get into a brownfield implementation. So, so for that reason only, I want to give a process flow of how this business process will be copied, in the sense we will be connecting with the business, or how we can manage to handle the workshops. Okay, what are the steps we follow to create a data, and in FICO side what exactly we consider, and MM side what exactly we consider, and then we work out on the implementation process. Not only FICO and MM, there you can find FICO, MM, then SD, then PPQM, then PM, then project system, EWM, then TM, APO. I think IBP is there in HANA. APO is in ECC. So like that, different modules are there in the implementation project. So at least I can see 8 to 10 modules are considered in the initial stage of implementation in the first sprint, I can say. So these are the feature SAP given best practices they can implement like that. Okay, then later on they can add on whatever they want additionally upon whatever mandatory are required, that will be used. And module wise there will be a cost differences also from SAP, and even license part or whatever it is, and support site also. And even they have a good team internally to manage all that activity, then they will propose more features to implement, or modules to implement, or else they'll just stick to the core modules what is really required to handle their end-to-end business process, from the starting of the order they get it from the customer, creating a sale order, from that to a till payment, right? So end-to-end cycle. And in between, the you can find from sale order creation, then stock is available or not, then if yes, then issuing the goods to sale order, then supplying it to customer. Stock is not available, then checking with the production team to produce the material internally. If they are not able to produce internally with everything, with all the raw material or semi-finished, they will depend on the material management team department or procurement team. So they'll raise a requisition through the production order, like not production order, through the MRP run. They can generate a PR, or they can create a requisition manually also. Even sales team also can create a requisition through the sales order itself to procure some of the material to fulfill the requirement. Okay, even plant maintenance team also can generate requisition through their work order level. Our project system team also can take up the network order, and from that also they can create a requisition. Like that, there are different department can generate requisition to procure the material. Like imagine there is no stock available to like manage the customer requirement, then definitely production team should work on the generating the requisition to procure from outside purchasing. That time the MM team will be integrating with the sales team or production planning team, or with the product plant maintenance team, or with the project system team. Like that, different model will be getting integrated, where more we will be focusing about the requisition generation part, right? From that, you convert the requisition to a purchase order. From that purchase order, it will go to supplier. Supplier will send the material. Then we receive the goods. We'll keep it in a unrestricted use. From that, you can consume it to the production order. If you want to go to manage that raw material to semi-finished, semi-finished to finished, then you are packing it. Then you are issuing the goods to the sale order. So that in that process, you will be keeping all the stock in the different store location. You cannot mix the material in a different location, like in the same location, right? You'll be keeping raw material in a one location, semi-finished one location, finished one location, blocked stock one location, scrapping of goods one location, returning of goods to a supplier one location. Like that, we can keep a multiple location. They may have a central store location, they may have a satellite store location, some kind of store location they can keep. And even they can keep one near to their production line, one store location, where they cannot keep bigger products to handle the daily process of assembly or any production activity. They can issue from a central location to a nearby production line. From production line store location, they can issue to the production process. Like that, there are multiple business scenarios will be there in the from the business as a side that we will be copying and we'll be implementing accordingly. Okay, I hope it is clear. Now I want to talk to Basavaraj sir about how exactly the FICO consultant look into the process. Okay, what are the areas they initially refer, and how it will be started, how it will start as a configuration, and what are the steps he follow in a real time. He can share it, not real time, like he can mention about the SAP best practices, follow the methodology. We generally follow activate methodology to manage the implementation project in a SAP S4 HANA implementation. We used to follow SAP ASAP methodology for SAP ECC implementation project. Now most of the companies, not even most, every companies are moving into SAP S4 HANA. There is an implementation of S4 HANA only. There is no ECC implementation. Why we are covering ECC and HANA together? There is a chance where you join a company where still companies are using ECC. For that, you have to support uh, uh, whatever the process they are following. So that case, you should know ECC in depth, and then what are the changes are implemented by SAP, like proposed by SAP. You can see the difference of all features. Then you can easily go and talk to a customer saying that you are using today ECC, which has these many features, but in HANA you can find these many features, and what is the use of.
From FICO side, right? So you have said some of the terminology greenfield implementation, and you have said that activate methodology, and you have said ASAP methodology. So I just for our students, right? Just you might be thinking, what are these terminology? But these all terminologies you are going to learn in a real time. So after completing the course, right? So you are going to learn these all terminologies. So that's why these are basically you will not be able to get it now. So just to refresh you, Prashant sir already told what is this greenfield implementation, what is this ASAP methodology and activate methodology. But just for refresh, for the sake of refresh, right? So just greenfield implementation is newly, like basically, let's say any other client, any client who wants to come to SAP. So if they are coming for the first time, if they are going to come for the first time to SAP, so they'll we'll implement the SAP, right? So at the time, so we implement the SAP for the first time with all the detailed information. Okay, so that is also we call as a greenfield implementation, as well as some of the clients which are working in or already using the ECC. Okay, so and also they want to use the S4 HANA, and from the beginning they don't want to consider whatever the system they are using ECC. They want to come to S4 HANA directly without considering whatever the ECC they are using. So for that also we call as a greenfield implementation. Now, when it comes to the two other terminology, ASAP methodology and activate methodology. So ASAP methodology is nothing but detailed steps how we need to implement the SAP in the client, you can say business. So for that, if they are earlier, now they are using, everyone are going to come to S4 HANA only, they'll not go to ECC. So earlier, whatever we implemented ECC, right, to the clients, so we followed a ASAP methodology. So whoever using the ECC, who worked on a ECC projects, right, so they implemented the ECC to the client by using the ASAP methodology, activate. So basically, that methodology nothing but what is the meaning of the methodology. So detailed steps how we want to implement the SAP. What is the first step? What is the second step? What is the third step? Like that, each and every step what we need to follow. So that we call as a ASAP methodology, or we can call as a so implementation steps. Okay, that is the ECC. For a ECC, we call as a ASAP. We use a ASAP methodology. So second, activate methodology. So Prashant sir told. So activate methodology. So now we are using. So whoever implementing the SAP. So we are using the S4 HANA now. We are implementing for all the clients S4 HANA only. So when you are implementing the S4 HANA, we follow a activate methodology. So there is a difference between ASAP methodology and Activate methodology. So there is not a much difference, but whatever the difference is there, so that's a very vital role in the difference between the ASAP methodology and Activate methodology. So Activate methodology, just remember, we use to implement the S4HANA. So these two in detail you are going to learn in a real-time project. Nothing but a real-time course. We'll start it after completing the all the concept of the SAP FICO. So both you are going to learn in detail. So these are the three terminology we learned. So these you are going to learn in the real time. So now when it comes to implementation of SAP FICO plays a very vital role in any of the project. So not only in SAP, in any other application you are implementing. So basically, finance is a very vital role. It plays a very vital role. Now we are talking about the SAP. So let's speak about the SAP only. When we are implementing the SAP FICO, okay, so there is a basic configuration we need to complete in order to take it forward with the all other module. So in order to integrate nothing but making a connection, whatever the activity they do it in other module. So all the information will flow into SAP. So now remember, some of the most of the students like whoever working a professional also, when they join a project, so there is a very important point is that whenever you get any you can say activity, or when you are working in a support project, when you get any incident, so they first need to identify whether it belongs to your area or not. So how to identify? Just remember for FICO, nothing but finance and controlling. So wherever there is a accounting impact is getting generated or getting happen. So accounting impact, nothing but any accounting document is getting generated. All those related activity or all those incidents will belong to FICO. Okay, so now let's say MM is moving a material from one plant to another plant. So now let's say A to B. So from the A plant, they are moving it to B plant. So in that case, there is a stock reduction in the A plant and stock it's getting added in the B plant, right? So for that also, there will be a accounting impact will be there. We need to show in our books of accounts that A plant is had a stock of 100, now it is 50, and B plant had a stock of 100, now it's a 150. So there is a like a difference in the you can say the stock, right? So for that we are going to generate accounting document. Okay, so like that. First, in order to understand when we are in a greenfield implementation, what are the activities we are going to do in FICO as part of the implementation. First, you need a company or a company code, right? Company code is a organization unit wherein where your company is registered. Let's say your company ABC is your company. Okay, so which manufactures something like let's say phones or anything you can say. So for that, wherever the company is registered, let's say it is headquartered in Bangalore, and okay, so for that you need to create a one company code. Okay, so with all the detailed information, like what are the detailed information? What is the name of the company? Okay, so where exactly it is located? So address and communication details you need to create it. So that is the first step wherein you are going to do it. So that is the creation of a company code from the FI side. Okay, so after creating a company code, we have a few more settings need to be performed. We call that as a organization structure from the FICO. So we need to complete first organization structure from the FICO. Then each and every module's work will get started. So now let's say after creating a company code, okay, you need to create a fiscal year. Fiscal year, nothing but what is the financial year? Okay, so you are going to follow. Let's say you are there in India, right? India always follows April to March, right? So that's why you need to create a financial year. Why it is required to create a financial year? So for a finance side, it is very important that So we need to submit all our financial reports. Financial reports, nothing but profit and loss account and balance sheet to the tax authority. Different tax authority. Okay, and so all the tax authority we need to submit our reports every year. So that's the reason. So we need to have a second setting, that is a fiscal year variant, in order to go ahead with the greenfield implementation. After fiscal year, chart of account. So chart of account is nothing but it contains the list of general ledger accounts. Okay, so you might be hearing when you are learning a MM. So for the MM people, like they know like a little bit finance also, but FI people, you already know this one. What is the chart of account also? Now, chart of account is nothing but it contains a list of general ledger accounting. General ledger accounting, nothing but, let's just an example for a MM students. Let's say when you are moving a stock, so raw material GL account, okay, semi-finished GL account, finished GL account, right? Inventory you call. So all these GL account you use every day. Whenever you do a stock movement, whenever you create a PO, and when you issue like receive a goods, so at that time accounting entry will be generated, right? For all the accounting entry whatever generated, there will be a GL account associated with that transaction. So that GL account, if you do not have any GL account, you will not be able to move any stock. You will not be able to like receive the goods, or you will not be able to invoice the vendor, right? So that's the reason chart of account is required. Third setting, that is a chart of account which contains the list of general ledger accounting. So now after the chart of accounts, right? So we have a few more settings to be completed. So those are like business area. So business area, nothing but so responsible area where exactly the transaction is happening. So let's say you have a business in a Bangalore. So from the in Bangalore itself, you have a different stores, or you can say plants, or you can say different locations you have, or stores you have, or you can say some business unit is there in a Bangalore itself. Let's say five you have, right? So all those five, what we do, instead of creating a company code once again for those five, we just manage with the business area. Okay, business area is also one of the critical area wherein through the business area also we can generate a financial statement. Instead of going ahead with the company code, we just create a business area. So this is the fourth step wherein we create a business area. So after the business area, okay, we need to have a posting key. Posting key, nothing but you call like whenever you are moving movements, right? So MM movement types you call, right? So whether you are moving a raw material or a semi-finished goods, okay, so whatever the movement you do it, so you call as the movement types, right? In MM, like that in FI we call as the posting keys. Okay, we call as the posting keys. So those are also required in order to go ahead with the implementation. Okay, so after the posting key, document types, right? So document types, nothing but whenever you like basically document types are nothing but identifying the transactions. Let's say you created a goods receipt, or a goods you have received from the vendor, or anything. You can say you have received the goods into your plant or a storage location. So when you receive the goods, so there will be accounting entry. So let's say if at all we use all the document types, same document types for all the transaction, it will not be possible to identify or differentiate all the transaction. So that is the purpose. What we will do for a different transactions, we'll use a different document types. So that what happens later, if at all we want to know what kind of transaction are getting posted, how much transactions are posted in the system. Okay, so that's the reason we are going to create a document types. Okay, different document types which uses different kind of a transactions. Okay, so that is fifth step wherein we are going to create a document types. So it is also required before we start start with the you can say uh, testing the whatever the configuration we do it. So this is also one of the basic settings wherein from the finance side we are going to create a document types and number range. So whenever there is a transaction getting posted, right, in SAP, all the transaction will be posted with the unique number. Okay, so that we call as the number range. So whatever the transaction we post, or from MM side, or from SD side, or from a PPQM, or from a Concur, different models, so whatever they post, so all the transaction will come to SAP itself. So accounting the documents, right? So when it comes to accounting, so if at all we provide a same number for all the transaction, so it's not correct, we'll not be able to get the accurate report. So that's the reason we need another settings from the FI side in order to handle. So we need to create a number range. Okay, so we need to create a number range for that as well. Okay, so this is the sixth step wherein we required a number range. Okay, from a finance side to go ahead with the implementation project. Okay, so the sixth step is over. Now we have other more basically you can say basic settings from the finance side, wherein we can go ahead with the implementation of any of the project. Okay, so you can say fiscal year is over, posting period, chart of account, okay, company code, so company, and you can say posting key, and you can say number range, okay, and you can say now GL creation also is required, right? So you have created a chart of account. So after creating the chart of account, you need to create a different GL account, raw material GL account, semi-finished goods GL account, sales GL account. Okay, any expenses, let's say a rent GL account. Okay, so salary GL account, wages GL account. Okay, so these are the GL accounts we are going to create. So for that, we need to complete in SAP, just for MM students, we have a SAP FICO, different sub modules in finance. So first one we call as the basic settings. So 7 to 8 configuration are there in the basic settings, which requires in order to go ahead with the implementation. After that, we have a general ledger accounting as another sub module in the finance. So that general ledger accounting is also required in order to go ahead with the implementation of any project. So after the general ledger accounting submodule, so we have accounts payable. So it is most of the cases, okay, 99% of the cases is linked with the, your MM module. So whatever the API said, accounts payable submodule in finance, whenever you create any vendor, right, you know, you create a supplier, right? So when you create a supplier, so that supplier related information first we'll create a in finance, then you are going to extend it to, so your you can say plant and everything, you are from a MM side, you are going to extend that one to, so that's plant and everything you can call, so your organizational structure you are going to extend it. So that is the AP, which is very important. So let's say you just purchase the goods from the vendors and you will leave it. When the goods you purchased, so for that vendor, we need to make a payment. Everything will be taken care by the finance team. So you are just going to purchase the material, or you are going to move the stock from one plant to another plant. So when you purchase the goods from the vendor, right, your work will be done. So after purchasing, so what we need to do, we need to make the payment from the finance side. We are going to make the payment whatever the material you purchase. Let's say you purchased the goods worth of 50 lakh, so that 50 lakh we need to make a payment. So from the finance side we are going to make the payment to the vendors, or you can call it suppliers. So now when you are making a payment, we have a lot of other activity need to perform. So when we need to make a payment, okay, so how we need to make a payment, okay, so what bank we need to make a payment, right? Through which mode we need to make a payment. Everything we need to basically consider from the finance side. When you purchase a material, so we first need to identify who is the vendor. Today is we need to make a payment. Today we need to make a payment. Let's say one vendor. For that vendor, so let's say to which bank account we need to make a payment. Let's say, for example, we can call SDFC Bank. Just an example. So now for the HDFC Bank, which mode we need to make a payment? Mode nothing but through check or a bank transfer. So how we need to make a payment? So all these will be basically settings will be done in a accounts payable submodule, so which is integrated with mm most of the cases. Okay, so once we make the payment, again we have another submodule, that is a banking. Okay, bank accounting. So after we made a payment, so how do we come to know whether that is a debited from our bank account or not? So when you transfer the amount from your Google Pay or anything, you will come to know that your account is debited. But in real time, a lot of transactions will be happening. Thousands of payment you are going to make every day. So how you are going to reconcile? So that is what every day we are going to get a bank statement from the banks. So when we get a bank statement, whatever the transaction we did it yesterday, all the transactions will be coming in the bank statement. You know, you will get a bank statement from the banks, right, every month. So whatever the transaction you did it for the month, everything will be showing in the bank statement. So like that in finance also. So for that particular banks, let's say you have a 10 banks, all the 10 banks you are going to get a bank statement every day. So that bank statement will contain each and every transaction which you are doing. Okay, which you did it for yesterday. Let's say yesterday's statement we are going to get it today. So then we are going to upload the statement into our basically system. So system, what it will do, so all the transaction, whatever you made a payment or you received a payment from the customer, so all the transaction it will be nullified. And always remember, when you upload the bank statement, your actual bank balance and your GL balance will be matching. So that's what a bank statement, or you can say bank accounting also, is very important submodule in finance. Okay, bank accounting. So this is also one of the submodule. After bank accounting, let's say we have a accounts receivable submodule in finance. So account receivable submodule is nothing but it's integrated with the sales and distribution. Okay, you know already sales and distribution is also one of the submodule. Sorry, one of the module in SAP. So whatever the sales you do it, now AP, like AP integrated with the MM, AR accounts receivable integrated with the sales and distribution module. So whatever the sales we perform or the sales and distribution team perform, let's say they create a sales order, they issue the goods, they bill the customer. So once they bill the customer, their work is done. So after they bill a customer, we are the finance team wherein we are going to receive the payment from the customer. If the customer is not making the payment, we are going to send a reminder letter to him. Okay. So if even though we send a reminder letter, customer is not making a payment at all, in that case, we are going to transfer that case to legal department. They'll get it done through the legal way. So like that, when customer makes a payment, okay, we receive the payment from the customer, whatever we sold the goods, all those transactions will happen in a accounts receivable submodule. Okay, so this is also one of the important submodule in finance. Okay, so that is accounts receivable. And again, we comes to foreign currency revaluation. This is part of a general ledger accounting. So let's say as a MM consultant, right? So what you will do, you will purchase the goods or you will transfer the stock, everything will do it. Let's say you purchase the goods, the vendor or a supplier who's sitting in another country, definitely he'll send a or he'll send an invoice in a different currency. So whatever the transactions we posted in a system in other than our company code currency. Let's say your company code is in India, so India follows the INR, right? So if you purchase any goods from other country and that vendor or that supplier will send a invoice in a different currency. So now foreign currency concept is nothing but whatever the sales or purchases you have recorded in other currency, all those you need to reevaluate. Basically, this is a legal requirement. Okay, we as a finance people, we are going to fulfill all the legal requirement of the country. Okay, now whatever the transaction you posted in other than your company code currency, let's say foreign currency, so whatever the transaction you posted in the system, all those transactions in the month end, you need to reevaluate. Let's say what is the reevaluate? What is the use of the reevaluating the transaction which are posted in other currency? So you are going to evaluate whether when we make a payment to whatever the purchases we have done in a foreign currency, whether you are going to get a foreign currency gain or loss. Okay, for that you need to post one accounting entry. Okay, so that we call as a temporary entry. Okay, so that we are going to reverse it next month. The reason being, you need to add it in your financial report. So that is the purpose of the legal requirement. We need to reevaluate all the transaction in a month end. So that's also one of the concept we call as a foreign currency revaluation. Now, so another sub module we have, that is asset accounting. So all the fixed assets, whatever are available in your organization, furniture, machines, land, building, okay, so vehicles. So a lot of fixed assets will be there in our organization. So for that, there is a legal, you can say a legal requirement for each and every country. They need to depreciate. So when you start using the asset, right, their value will be depreciated, or you can say that useful life of the asset will be reduced. So asset accounting also is one of the sub module in finance, wherein all the assets, fixed assets only, we are going to handle depreciating, okay, purchasing the asset, selling the asset, scrap of the asset, transfer of the asset. Okay, so different options are there in asset accounting. So this is also asset accounting, also one of the sub module in finance, wherein we are going to handle all the assets, fixed assets in finance. So these are the very important sub module in finance. Okay, at least after the basic configuration, when you start your work from a MM side implementation project, so we need to set up a AP related settings. Okay, so that is nothing but creating a account group, vendor account groups, or a supplier account groups. Okay, a number range, and you can say creating a vendors. Okay, so all those AP related settings plus basic setting. Now let's say we are implementation. Okay, we are implementing the S4 HANA. Now, if you say what are the points or what are the configuration required in order to go ahead with the MM and FI. First is FI side, all the basic settings, that whatever I said, company creation, company code, fiscal year, posting period, okay, document type, number range. Okay, so all these are required. Plus we required a general ledger accounting. So general ledger accounting which contains the GLs. Okay, so and third one is we require a accounts payable submodule. So these are the three. Okay, one is basic settings, second one is general ledger accounting, third one is AP. These are the three concepts, or you can say topics, are required from the finance side to be completed, so that you can go ahead with the implementing the MM related configuration. Okay, so this is the finance side. Again, we have a controlling as well, which we are going to handle as the FI consultant itself. So that is controlling. We need to create a controlling area. Okay, we need to create a profit center, cost center. Okay, so and internal order. So just an example. So these all settings will go hand on hand. Okay, so first these three settings required from a finance side, and when it comes to controlling, we required a controlling area. So that is controlling area, nothing but which basically just an example I'll provide you why the controlling also has a one module. What is the use of the controlling? So controlling is the main purpose of this controlling model is to this is for a managerial decision taking purpose. Okay, so this is for the internal reporting purpose. We are not going to anything which is posted in a controlling, we are not going to submit any report to the external authority. So this is to basically to manage all your resources, or you can say all department of that organization. So controlling is main purpose is to managerial decision taking. Let's say for the just an example, you are manufacturing a goods, okay, finished goods. For that, earlier you used to like the cost of that one product to manufacture was 1,000 rupees. Now it increased to 1,100. Okay, so from the controlling model, you are going to get a detailed report. Why earlier you were using and manufacturing a goods with 1,000, now 1,100, why it's happening? So that detailed report, okay, for the management to analyze, so that will be taken from the controlling, because controlling captures all the detailed information, okay, which helps the management to take a decision. Now let's say just an example. You can have a one finance, you can say one department is there, let's say HR department. Okay, HR department, the budget was 1 crore for that particular year. Now the budget is exceeded 1,50,000. So for that, where actually the management can look into that. So that is through the controlling module itself, they'll get to know why earlier 1 lakh provided budget already exceeded and they consumed another 50 lakh for the particular year. So the detailed information will be getting from the controlling, because each and every transaction or each and every detailed information to take the management decision, like to make the decision from the management side, will be available from the controlling. So that's why, so including the FI, we need a basic settings of the controlling also, that is controlling area. So controlling area nothing but, so that is the operating basically it's one of the organization structure in the controlling. And we require a cost center and a profit center. So cost center is nothing but whatever the expenses you do it, okay, whatever the expenses you do it, all the expenses will be captured against the cost center. Okay, so just the expenses. Now profit center, I said a profit center. Profit center is nothing but, so it captures the cost as well as the profit. Okay, so cost center, it will capture only cost. Profit center, it will capture a cost as well as the revenue, so that you will get whether you are going to get a net profit and net loss. So these are the three settings required from the controlling. So that is the controlling area, cost center, profit center, and finance side we required a basic settings, and we required a general ledger accounting and accounts payable when you want to go ahead with the implementation of SAP with MM or with SD. So these are the settings we required from our finance side. Okay. So any questions? Prashun, these are the
Yeah,
few of the points I explained, but
I
in
think
system
this is,
only.
yeah, this is enough. I think a lot of things you have covered in this time, and it's overview. I can see like many things you have managed to say. Like if I summarize, you managed to say like why account payable team, like account payable area is integrated with MM and account receivable integrated with SD. All that you have mentioned, and also one more point I want to add here. In my experience, last project. So there is a costing run also, right? Costing run will come into picture where it will even look into the overhead charges also. Example, I have even observed in a metal master costing one and costing two view. Whenever you are running a costing run, it will update the cost of the product, including of overall charges, overhead charges. It will look first into the metal master accounting view. What is the price maintained? These are the one part. So this costing run is done by whom? Is it done by FICO team only, or a separate team will be taking care of costing run?
Correct, correct. Controlling, we have a right FICO person. So
Hmm.
controlling consultant will handle the costing. Basically, we have in controlling itself. I just provided an overview of the controlling.
Hmm.
Just let me another 2 minutes. I'll explain you.
Hmm.
So in a controlling, so we have a cost center accounting, profit center accounting, internal order. So these are just the basics. Okay. Now we have a product costing concept. So product costing is nothing but, so where you are saying in a accounting view, costing one tab, you are going to see the standard cost. Okay, so that will not update anything manually. So all the cost, whatever the standard cost you are going to update in the material master, everything will be done by the you can say product costing. So there is a concept in a controlling called a product costing. So for you required a cost, but for a sales rate, they required a COPA. So another concept in a controlling also, product costing and COPA. Product costing always linked with the MM, wherein you are going to capture what is the cost of that product. So that will be updated by the through the way we have a different configuration steps in the product costing itself, wherein we do like we maintain. Okay, so what is the activity price. So like basically when you want to like a cost a product, we have a two separate concept. First one is routing. Routing we call. Routing is nothing but, okay, basically activity. Let's say when you want to manufacture a goods, so what, how much hours of labor is required? So how much hours of machine is required? So how much electricity is required? Like those we call as a routing. Okay, so routing is required when you want to manufacture a goods. Plus we require a raw material. So that raw material plus routing, we calculate and we update the price in the material master, so that you can see it in accounting 1 and 2, or you can say costing 1 and 2. So there, when you for each and every material, that cost will be updated in the material master through the you can say product costing concept. So product costing, in the product costing concept, we have a different configuration. Just in nutshell, what I can say, product costing is nothing but so updating the price, or you can say calculating the cost of the product and getting updated that information in the material master automatically. So that is the product costing concept we have. Now COPA, I said, COPA is nothing but it is integrated. Most of the cases it is integrated with the sales and distribution. COPA nothing but controlling and profitability analysis. Nothing but so getting the report. So each and every segment wise, let's say you have a wholesale, okay, you have a retail, you have a consignment, you have a, let's say you have a online sales, okay. So these are segments. So COPA, what it happens, business if they want to know, so just say they are manufacturing or they are selling a 5 different products. So for the first product, wholesale, how much revenue we have got for that particular period. So from where they can get it? From the COPA. Okay, let's say you have another finished goods which you are selling. You are selling that through the retail platform. So that product, the retail platform through for that particular period, how much sales you have done it. Okay, so that from where you can get it? From the COPA. So COPA is nothing but, so this is also one of the reporter. So to know how much sales they have done it. So not only product wise, also they can know the mode of the sales. Nothing but so basically online sales, wholesale, retail. So how much sales they have done it for a particular product or for a particular period. If they want to know, they'll get to know from the COPA. So these are the another two main concept. One is the product costing, and another one is the COPA in controlling production. And also we have a material ledger. So every month we are going to close the material ledger, wherein so let's say how much stock you have moved out from the plant, or you can say storage location, how much raw material you have purchased. So all those material ledger we need to do it. So first in a controlling, just to sum up, right? Controlling, we have a cost center accounting, profit center accounting, internal order, okay, product costing, COPA, and material ledger. So these are the sub modules in controlling. How we have in a finance also. These are the different sub modules in controlling. But so minimum, so no one will be like basically controlling a consultant in each and every organization will not get it. Okay, so if we have 10 or 12 finance people, will be having one consultant as a controlling, or even they'll managing without a CO consultant. So because it requires more experience when you have a like a 10 to 15 or a 20 years of experience in finance, or a 10 years of experience, then only you will be understanding the controlling. So it's not easy to understand the or learn the controlling module and straight away start working on the controlling. It's not happening. It will not happen, because you need a huge knowledge in a finance, so that you can get into controlling. Little bit you can take up and you can learn the controlling. But to survive in any project, to work without any issues, you at least need to have a basic knowledge of the controlling, so which everyone will get it. Okay, so that's the controlling related information person.
Okay, great, great. I think we have got a lot of information from you. So I would like to add on MM side also. Like these are the FICO side, and few more questions I have, which we can discuss in our project level phase also. So what I'm planning, like merging MM team with the FICO team. Okay, so where we can run a workshop simply. The workshop contain this steps to be followed in FICO, and in MM, there's this step to be followed in MM side. So at the end, we will work like a team. Okay, maybe from your end, this many people are, this many aspirants are going to learn project level in next month. Okay, with the MM side, I'll be connecting with the overall interest to get into project level. We will discuss and we can go with the one flow completely. Okay, so apart from your experience, FICO, I would like to add these knowledge to finance and controlling side who are all today learning, right? Already MM people know about what are the basic configuration need to be done. Okay, so imagine once this company code, controlling area, business area, or whatever you see in finance and controlling, MM side, we generally focus more on the purchase organization creation, then plant creation, and maintain the store location for each plant. Then purchase group is a one independent entity which we create in the system. So if you ask like how many configurations are done there in the enterprise structure level, there will be 4 configurations. One is purchase organization level. You're creating purchase organization, which are the purchase organization you want, plant specific, company code specific, or standard purchase organization, reference purchase organization, like that. Multiple purchase organization you can create in the system to handle the entire procurement activity. It's a completely organization which takes care of entire purchasing activity. And purchasing group is independent entity where you can create a independent buyer also. Example, okay, Prashant is going to be a independent buyer. I can be an independent buyer in the system. That can be created in the system as a configuration. Independent you can create. There is no assignment of purchase group with any enterprise structure. It's just completely independent. Okay, you can create a group of purchasing people also. That time we can keep a like under one group 4 are there team who is working on procuring the mechanical goods, electrical goods, or any goods you are purchasing from a particular supplier. So you have to create a group of people, and they have a one extension called telephone or mail ID. So from that, the supplier will be contacting and following up for the any purchasing activity when you create an order. Okay, simple. So how this plant and store locations are managed? It will be managed by production planning or material management team. It depends on the knowledge who has more about the process on the manufacturing side. So in the company side also, it depends depends on how which team is going to take care of plant creation and store location creation. We define plant creation in the system, and then we extend the store location. We will not assign. Okay, we will maintain under the same plant multiple store locations need to be created, right? We will manage like that. Okay, this is a baseline configuration we consider in SAP MM side. Even it is an ECC or S4HANA, the configuration part is same. There is no changes you can see in ECC and HANA. Okay, and definitely you should know from where to where you are going to assign the company code to a plant, company code to a purchase organization, then company code to any configuration you are going to do it. That you have to finish it in the starting stage of your baseline configuration. Okay, once you are clear with the baseline configuration, like there are a lot of configurations are there in MM side also. If you consider like metal master configuration, there are material type configurations are there, and respective number ranges are there. Then field configurations are there, like which field need to be mandatory, optional, display, all that, right? Then you should know about industry sector to configure, metal group to configure. There are a lot of fields are there in every in the master data level. And if you get into supplier master, then again you come into a picture of like creating account group. Okay, if you go through ECC, there is an account group, all that you can find it. When you get into HANA, then business partner roles and BP account group, all that you can find in S4HANA supplier master. We call it as a vendor master in ECC, and in S4HANA we call it as a supplier master or business partner. One single code which will carry out all the creation of custom master, independent person to create, or maybe supplier to create anything. You can see a one single T code where you can manage everything. Okay. Then you get into info record. Purchase info record is the one master data where you manage to handle all the information of the purchasing details of a supplier, like a material, supplier, and plant, all the combination. You create a master data to refer the data of a material, plant, and supplier level, what price you are going to set according to the supplier confirmation. So even you maintain the cost or maybe a price of the material master in the material master, that will not even consider during the purchasing of a material. If you imagine creating a purchase order, okay, then you do think the value will come from a metal master? No, it will not come from a metal master price. It will always come from the purchase info record, or if you have a contract exist in the system. If you have a contract, system will look into the price of the contract to the purchase order. If you have an info record, then if you are not using contract, then it will come from the info record, like that. Then if you don't have info record, you don't have a contract, then from where you can maintain condition records, you can maintain with respect to the material master, material and vendor, or this combination condition record you can maintain. From that it will flow the value to the purchase order. If you don't maintain anything, you have to manage manually to create a purchase order with a price, like that. So there are different process you have to manage in the MM side. You have to maintain all the master data. Then from that you can manage to create the transactions of creating requisition, the purchase order. Then it will go to a supplier. Then they will supply the goods to us. Then we receive the inventory. Then we receive it. Then it will be consumed to the particular process, or it will be consumed to the production order, or it will be consumed to the sale order. Like inventory will be available. This is like inventory management module, I can say. So in the material management, it's what's vast. As you know, FICO, MM, SD, these three are the vast module, which it requires a lot of knowledge to acquire with the business process side also. Then only you can manage to handle the implementation project very effectively. Okay, if you talk about invoice posting part is not taken by, is it taken by MM or FI? I can see it's a combined effort. Sometimes FI will support us to give our inputs to test all the invoice side process. Like it's not like straight way you are going to do the invoice part for some of the requirement. You may have to depends on even Vim team also. Vim team is like SAP Vim vendor invoice management team also come into picture. And some of the cases I have seen that the data will be flowing from other system to SAP automatically through the open text and other things are there in the process. I worked on that project in one of the projects there. They follow creation of invoice automatically from other system to SAP. It will park invoice in SAP. Then later it will be managed to post through the batch job also. Okay, these are the invoices are posted through the parked via this particular system to SAP. Then from that, the batch job will be generated, and accordingly that the open parked invoice will be posted through the batch job. Or if there is no any issue with the in that time, we will be checking manually that kind of invoice posting. So if you consider like in MM side, there are a lot of special procurement process will be there. Like initially you should know about direct procurement, indirect procurement, service procurement. These are the three procurements activity will happens in the MM side. Direct is what you are going to purchase in material. It's to be used for the selling purpose. There will be business you are going to do it. And it means you are purchasing material which will be stocked, and that will be used for the production line, or maybe that will be directly tested in the in your premise. Directly you are purchasing some trading goods or maybe ready goods. Then you receive it and you do the testing of the same, and then you put your branding, then you pack it and you sell it to the customer. Okay, that there you can get a business out of that particular product. It's called direct procurement activities. If you talk about indirect procurement, it's you are purchasing a material for the indirect requirement. In the sense, you are not going to sell it outside. You will be consuming internally for the machinery activity, or maybe you have a machinery to produce some product. Okay, and that machine got a problem and some components are not like to be replaced. Then you have to purchase through the plant maintenance side, right? You have to raise a work order. From that work order, there will be requisition generated. From that requisition, you will be procuring the product, and then you will be receiving it and consuming it to the into the your machinery where they need this component need to be replaced. One process I can say. Or directly you can raise an order as an indirect procurement order, where you can just give a text of the that product what you are purchasing, then you receive it and directly you can consume via consuming you can consumption that part. Or else you can take example of administrative items like laptops or pen, paper, printer, or safety items. Then some of the product you purchase just to use to manage the administrative activities. Okay, so our consumption part only you can talk about. Then if you talk about service procurement, it's more about the services you're going to perform with support of supplier. There is no goods will be received from the supplier end. It's just creating a service order. Then you will be creating a service entry sheet. Then you will be performing all the service entry sheet activity, releasing that. Then you will be doing the invoice for the same. There are a few cases like you have to do services for the AC or floor cleaning services. There will be education services, training to the employees, right? Some educational services to be taken care from a third party. Then that time you have to raise a service order, and in that you can monthly you can perform the services. Then you can settle down the amount to the supplier. Okay, there is no stock movement will happen during the service procurement. When you consider the special procurement activity, there are multiple special procurement process will be there. If I talk about consignment, consignment is the material which you are purchasing with the C material, like low cost material you purchase from the supplier, and then you keep it in your premise and you start consuming it. After consumption, you are going to settle down the price. There is no price available in the PO level. There's no price or accounting will be going to happen. Accounting entry will not be there in the consignment purchase order you're doing GR. Other case, you'll get a BSX entry or WRX entry or maybe offsetting entry, GBB, or any other transaction event key will hit during the accounting entry. But during consignment, there's no accounting entry will happen. You are going to just keep all the stock, like supplier will be taking care of that, and you will be consuming as per the requirement. Example, you take a nut, bolt, gasket, or any C materials, which is like a low cost, I can say. They will supply in a mass, and then you consume. If you are not able to use everything, then you can return that stock to supplier back again. Okay, that is the consignment process. If you talk about some subcontracting process, it's all about the you are not able to handle entire business process internally because of the labor issues, or maybe machinery you are not able to manage that, or maybe some activity which is done by a subcontractor for a mass number. In example, if you take, there are like 100 companies are looking same material to be produced, or maybe managed by a subcontractor. He or she will be doing the services only, not like he'll be producing separate material for your requirement. Okay, you will be supplying all the raw material what you have today, and you will supply it to the subcontractor. They will do assembly activity, or maybe you can take a simple example of powder coating or painting activity which you don't have internally in-house. Then you'll be supplying it to the supplier. He'll be taking care of all that activity, and he will send back to the semi-finished product to your premise. You just inspect, and then you can give it to the production line to assemble it. Then you assemble it, and then you make a final product, like that. So during that time, you will be giving a service cost. Okay, and don't get confused with the product cost. Product cost will not be considered here. It's only service cost will be taken care in the purchasing of such goods, in a sense subcontracting process time, I can say. Okay, then if you talk about returnable transportation packaging, there is a concept of like you are getting a barrel of some product. Okay, but barrel should be returned to the supplier. It is not kept in our premise. Okay, you are consuming all the liquid which is there in that barrel, and you will be returning the package to supplier back. So you have to create such material in your system that this is the barrel material number, this is the liquid which consists of that, and you will be managing that system in the process. Okay, like this the step-by-step process you have to follow, and then you can manage to handle that returnable packaging, transportation packaging, RTP process in SAP system. Okay, then the one more concept called pipeline process. Pipeline means monthly you'll be getting an electricity bill, or maybe water bill, or maybe you are using some regularly some oil or some fluid you are consuming daily in a daily basis, or maybe weekly basis. So monthly we'll be settling the cost of what we are going to consume it. There is no PO raised in this case. Direct purchase order is not raised in this case. You will be just directly doing the goods receipt of such consumption what you're doing, and accordingly you will be closing the bill to the supplier. It's called pipeline procurement. Okay, when you are managing consignment and pipeline, there are few settings to be done in the system in the configuration level. So accordingly, system will evaluate the price part. Okay, so compared to a subcontract and direct procurement, or there is a concept called stock transport order also. STO, stock transport order, is what there will be business happening between the company code plants. Example, one company code has multiple plant. Okay, one plant is producing some material, and that will not be sold to a customer directly. They will be transferring from Chennai to Bangalore. From Bangalore unit, they'll be managing all the inspection activities and packing and doing supplying to the customer directly. So there will be an interaction between two plants from Chennai to Bangalore under same company code. It's called stock transfer order. Like receiving plant will be raise an order to a supplying plant, and they will supply the product to the receiving plant. Then we will not have any billing activity in this process because it's under same company code. In case you are going with the two company codes, like company code are managing different business, then definitely you have to do a billing for that case. Okay, you will be raising a billing, and then you'll be clearing the billing in that case. And in that two company code, whenever you are managing the process, definitely I can see there will be delivery process will be there, right? Outbound delivery verification will be happening. Even in the two plant, which is in a different state also, you can go with the delivery creation. From that, you can manage all the stock in transition, like, okay, this stock is issued from this particular supplying plant. It's there in stock in transit. It's in a truck or maybe train or maybe flight. It's coming, right? You will have a proper route determination also. Shipping of from where to where you are doing all that. Shipping determination will come into picture. Route determination will come into picture. So there are a lot of things you have to know about STO, stock transfer order. Okay. Yeah, there are a few which integrated with the FI and MM. Always I say, right, account determination part is more into FI and MM integration part, where you have to know about OBOIC configurations, and even you should know what is valuation class, what is valuation reference category. Then material type side, you should know what is material type configuration, how it works, and you're working with the multiple GL accounts, then how you can link this particular GL account with this particular valuation class. All these things you should know. Example, imagine you have a raw materials, but raw material consists of different variety of raw materials, right? Then business asks, like, I want to have a separate report for this variety of material. Then how do you manage this kind of a process? You should know very clearly that creating multiple valuation class for the particular material type, then linking that valuation class with the material type, then later you will be linking that valuation class with the GL account. Then system will understand, okay, this valuation class will have this GL account, then it will hit that particular GL account. Then monthly you can have a report of particular activity what you are doing with the even the same material type also. Okay, these are all things you should know really in the real time project, I can say. Okay, so whenever we find any challenges with the finance side, or maybe the setting of any configuration are like not completed, then we'll be reaching out to the finance team, and they will help us to fix the issue, anything during the testing time. And also, if you take a split valuation concept, split valuation is more into having a multiple values for a same material. Example, you take a mobile phone of different color, red, black, or white, whatever it is. So the metal feature is same, product feature is same, everything is same, only color difference is there. Then how you can manage the value of the color difference? Okay, so that you can manage with the split valuation. Or else you can imagine, if you are purchasing some metal from outside and purchasing from domestic India, right, price will be different, but same material will be there. Okay, then in that case, how you manage the split valuation? And there are a few cases which you can consider same material which will be new, maybe it will go for repair and come back, and what is the cost of that material? Some cases there will be like maintenance will be take, like you will be keeping that for a promotional purpose, that material. How you manage to handle the value of that material as a promotional product, right? So all this case, you will be connecting with the finance team to know about the price part, or maybe the setting which is required from the financial side. Okay, so as per my experience, integration between FI and MM is always a high priority in the initial stage of implementation project. Later, you can discuss with SD side whatever the integration happens between STO process, because STO will always have a SD and MM integration, where you should have a sales organization details, sales distribution channel, then group, or there are few things you have to consider during the STO process. If you talk about where exactly PP will come into picture, it's more about you are creating a bill of material for a particular parent product you are going to produce internally, right? For that, you have to create all the bill of material. It's not only in PP side, in sales side also there will be a sales bill of material. In PP, there will be production planning side, they'll create a bill of material. Subcontracting process, you will be getting into that integration between PP and MM. When PS will come into picture, when you have a network order, you will be managing a couple of projects, and that time project system will take care of this network order creation, WBS creation, right? Work breakdown structure. That time you will be integrating between the PS and MMT. Like this process, whenever you are managing, that definitely PS team will reach out to MM team to take care of this particular process. In plant maintenance, definitely work order creation happens there. There is a chance where you have to procure some material for the machinery which got breakdown and need to purchase some components from outside. Then requisition will be generated from the work order. From that, you will be converting the PR to PO. Then you receive the material for that, and it will be used for the work order, and notification will be there for that, and they will complete the work order, and they will make tech or something technically completed. There is a complete process will be there for every department to department, and then only this all the module will get integrated. When I see the core modules are always implemented during the project time. Okay, so if I call out all the module like FICO, MM, PPQM, then PM, then project system, then EWM, then TM. Now I am talking about S/4HANA. What are the models they are just trying to implement? Okay, TM and EWM is like optional, where you can manage with the inventory management module also in S/4HANA. So if they want completely want to go with the EWM, like it's more about extended warehouse management, the bigger warehouse they have and lots of things to be managed, and they cannot manage with just plant and store location handling process, they will look for the EWM module. Then if they want more into transportation management, then it will integrate with the SD module too. TM module. TM module is more hot in the market now. Yeah, definitely. If they want to implement a TM mandatory, then they'll propose TM. If you want to go to IBP, integrated business planning, something is there, SAP IBP. Most of the PPQM consultants are working with IBP, which is also required in some of the projects. Another module called PPDS, production planning and detailed scheduling. As for HANA, they have introduced PPDS like that. And basis security, GRC, all that mandatory to have a module, technical module, and along with that, you should have a SAP S/4HANA ABAP technical module to be included in the project. Okay, this is about overall project experience, which we would like to share with you all. So yeah, maybe I missed out a couple of MM side knowledge sharing because it's vast. If you want to know more about MM module experience of whatever I'm training now, we can share that folder with you all. You can follow that, and Basaraj sir, whatever covering all the knowledge that can be referred by our MM people who are all interested to know about what FICO team does. Not like too many information you should know and work on that, because every organization has their own plan of hiring FICO consultant, MM consultant, as mentioned by Basaraj sir, that controlling will be a bigger area where you have to think about more and more configurations and solution. That time FICO senior people are not able to handle it, then they will hire controlling consultant separately, and they will take care of the process. Okay. In project level session, what we are planning to do it more about following the phases. Okay, what are the phases are followed in a project implementation, and what are the documentation we are going to cover it in that process, and what are the steps you are following in workshops. I need a support from you, Basaraj sir. What are the workshops you manage to handle during the implementation project? What are the slides you prepare majorly? How do you go and do a show and tell? Like, these are the process to be followed, and these are the SAP best practices given. How do you manage this steps in the real time? I need that knowledge to be shared. I also can share as per my experience. Then couple of BBP documentation I want, like in any project, whatever you are preparing today, business blueprint, or maybe KDS document, or maybe design documentation, or test script, or UAT, how will be handled, and manual configuration. What are the manual configurations are taken care during every module level? Like some of the configurations are not carried from a development system to production. Directly, it will be managed through the manual configuration. Generally, if I see, like we follow number ranges as a manual configuration, we will not do it through the configuration from development system in some cases, maximum cases. Yeah. And some configurations are done manually for in a release strategy case in MM side, like class, characteristics, and all will be managed directly in the production system. And cutover activities, what are the cutover activities step to be followed, and what is data migration process to be followed, which tools are used, whether it is LSMW, LTMC, or migration cockpit will be used, which version we are using, what kind of tools, and how we go with the BTC recording in some cases to handle a Z transaction code to develop for the loading of data from other ERP to SAP, right? All these things we will discuss during the project implementation phase, I can say. And any gap, if you see during that time, we can discuss more about the same. Okay. I hope it is clear. Yes, I have extended for more time today to educate you all. Like there are a lot of things to cover. Like in our MM training also, we are like just 60% we have covered. Then this month I'll be covering more about MM module till June 30th. I'll be covering maximum. Then in July I'll be covering more about S/4HANA differences, which will take maximum 15 days for me to cover HANA differences in sourcing and procurement. In ECC it's called MM module, material management module. In S/4HANA, it's called sourcing and procurement. If someone has a confusion with this, please clarify today itself. Like this is the module level, we call it in MM. But in FICO, I don't think there's no changes happen with the naming convention. It's same only. I think finance and controlling in ECC also FICO, and HANA also it's called FICO. What are the changes happened in S/4HANA? Already Basaraj sir is covering all that. Hopefully you got all the knowledge. Please prepare accordingly. Okay, and I would like to know which date we can start together to handle the project levels preparation together. That will be more clear, that we will be talking and interacting best as per the expectation of the firm who is looking for a consultant. Maybe they're looking for 2 years experience, 3 years experience, 4+ year experience, 5+ year experience. We all should prepare in that way, that how we can tackle the requirement of a company, what kind of a JD they're asking, what are the areas to be covered. You have to be at least clear with the 80% of the same what they're looking for. Simple. Okay, we cannot manage everything 100% what business or maybe the customer is looking for implementing such project, but you have to try out with the maximum knowledge what you have today, or maybe after another 1.5 months of time you experience from us. So before July 30, I want to see a clarity of entire data of tax skills, like who are all trained by us with a FICO or MM or any module. Like I want to see a good preparation from your end, and preparing the resume, preparing the Naukri, preparing the LinkedIn. LinkedIn is very poor with everyone's. When I see FICO and MM also, MM side also, people are not even pushing these days to develop your LinkedIn profile. So I'm talking here and there, pushing, messaging, all that, sending voice note. Still, I see a very poor movement process from like I can say, like push from the aspirant side. Like we are pushing this much, then why you are not able to push from your end? Because you are in a need now. You want to become a consultant in another maybe 1 or 2 months or 3 months, 6 months. Please focus on the same. Okay.